back-to-back wins at St James's Park. 2 wins in about 2.5 days. That is more like it, Newcastle United. It's finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0, and this is the last word. Yes, welcome back to the last word. This is going to be another good last word with me and Mr. Lee Lawler. What a couple of days it has been.
We've just been seeing off camera, and we've literally just come out the ground. We thought we won't let it die down. We'll just get filming straight away, and the atmosphere has bounced. People are singing as we're walking past. It's absolutely fantastic. And look, we haven't just beaten 2 small Premier League clubs this week. We've beaten 2 of London's,
two of London's biggest.
Yeah,
not the biggest.
Yeah, Arsenal and Chelsea this week. And what a performance! And where's the Eddie Howe doubters now? Where are you?
Honestly, unbelievable performance. Make sure you like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. And again,
Question for you though: can we play Arsenal every week at home?
Hey,
because I would love to.
I would love to as well. But do you know what the funniest thing was before we go right into the game? Do you remember when Anthony Gordon's cross missed everybody and hit the corner flag and stayed in? I thought that was just calm. I thought it was fucking lovely. I thought that was beautiful.
Because Arsenal, they were going 10 yards forward every time for a throw in every time.
But yeah, we're going to delve straight into it. Team news. This is going to be interesting. What was the midfield going to be? What was the defence going to be? I think the 4-3 more or less picked itself, and the goalkeeper obviously. But it was Willock, Longstaff, and Bruno. You weren't happy with that before the game.
I'm going to massively contradict myself here, because it's easy I can see it in hindsight when the game's finished. And I was not happy Tonali wasn't in there. It was like, why is Tonali and Lloyd Kelly, to be fair, why are those 2 not in the lineup? Because they were absolutely sensational in midweek. And that was Tonali's best game in the black and white shirt for me, in that literally centre of the 3. And what has Lloyd Kelly got to do to put Dan Burn out? I mean,
do you think Dan Burn was brilliant today?
Yes, but that's in hindsight. But asked me at the start of the game, I was like, what's he doing?
No, you didn't. To be fair, in the WhatsApp, you said, I'm not too sure about this, and we had a bit of back and forth on that. But you said at the start of the video, Lee, you've got to trust Eddie Howe. Don't be a doubter, you almost got to be a believer. I hate using that quote because it's somebody else's quote. But he got it spot on today in terms of the formation. At times it was man-to-man, at times it was the low block, but it worked to a treat. In terms of the first 10-15 minutes before Newcastle took the lead, Arsenal had a lot of possession. Newcastle didn't really do a great deal, but Newcastle were coping with anything that Arsenal were putting towards them in that first 15 minutes.
All beating them, lads. All the best. Take it easy.
Hey, what a win. What a win.
What brilliant.
Oh, it's class. What a week it's been. Has Eddie Howe turned it around?
I think he has. I think he's sorted the midfield out now. They've been a little bit more dynamic, aren't they? A little bit more in your face, but we need to keep it up.
Finally, who was your man of the match today?
My man of the match, I would have thought Bruno was excellent today in the middle there. Really was.
Yeah, he's exactly what we need, isn't he?
We'll find out later who mine is. So watch it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that question that you mentioned there, I was not scared. Never mind the first 15 minutes at all. How many saves did Nick Pope have?
In terms of real saves,
the only time I was worried is right to death.
Yeah.
Right to death. That was it. When the header went wide.
We'll touch about a chance with Arsenal after it goes 1-0, but again, he hasn't had to make. It wasn't him that made the block or the save. But I get your point. Yeah, Newcastle were comfortable. They were really, really comfortable. But it's what Newcastle could do when they were going forward, and it happened pretty early. A long ball was defended, and it was headed bizarrely because it went straight. Instead of going down the line by the fullback, I don't remember if it was Partey or Timber at that moment in time. But when the header goes the opposite way into the path of Alexander Isak, he plays it to Longstaff. Lovely ball to Gordon on the right, one touch cross, and it's poor marking, really poor marking. You're talking about Gabriel and Sleeve, everyone's talking about them. Ooh, they're the best 2 centre-backs in the league. I know. He had the whole 18-yard box to himself, and that is an unbelievable finish. It's like it was his first real chance of the game.
It's a hell of a cross.
It was.
A cross makes the finish for me. And we twist that we don't like Gordon here, we don't like Gordon there. I actually thought first half he was absolutely brilliant in that right wing position. And that cross he whips, because he did another one just after and it just missed a couple of bodies. That whipped in cross, that was like Nobby Solano-esque, and he was here today, we'd have been proud of that. That just whips it in, and Isak gets all the space, he's got about 5 yard space, bullet header, proper Shearer-esque, into the back of the net.
You probably haven't seen this, but Shearer and Wrighty were in the Premier League production studio, and Shearer's done his celebration. Get in! And he goes, what a cross. Like I said, the Solano Shearer, the Gordon Isak, that is what a number 9, that is what your centre forward wants. He wants a delivery like that.
And sometimes we play around the box, and I'm like, get it in, get it in, get it. Look what happened, old school. Look what can happen. Absolutely great goal, filthy goal. Possibly our goal of the season already.
A match-winning goal.
So far. Mind you, we haven't scored many.
A match-winning goal, that's what it was for Alexander Isak today. And it was brilliant. It was just what we need. The whole crowd. For at 12:30, everyone goes, oh, it's 12:30. You're going to get yourself up for it.
I know there was that talk. Obviously, you had the video earlier in the week on your podcast. So obviously, with Mr. Stone, guy, he was saying that, I like us playing a little bit earlier because I don't want us playing in the nighttime game because the atmosphere goes, no. Mr. Stone, your boys have taken one hell of a beating.
Yes, Bruno's a nasty bastard was his words. Bruno is our nasty bastard. He's a fantastic nasty bastard. I love him. Absolutely love him.
Just with that as well, because not put on a negative, but you're going to get more and more of Isak to Arsenal.
Why would he downgrade himself?
Because all the Arsenal fans want Isak, and look, scored against you boys once again. I love playing Arsenal here. Yeah. Can we have Arsenal next week? Guaranteed 3 points now.
I'm glad you feel that confident. No.
Do you when Arsenal come?
In terms of Arsenal chances after that, because everyone was talking about set pieces. Declan Rice, what a fantastic cross he's got on him. You look at the goal that Marino scored against Liverpool last week. Marino nearly scores from a set piece. It was a corner. It was a corner from the left-hand side, right towards the far post, headed back in, and Marino, after it kind of gets deflected off the line from Lewis Hall, blocks it again. Lewis Hall with Marino's shot. It's kind of like squeezed in between Lewis Hall and Dan Burn, but it's more Hall than Burn. But Newcastle get rid, and that was probably the closest it really got for Arsenal until Declan Rice's chance near the end. But they were knocking on the door. But in terms of the set pieces, in terms of what Arsenal have been very, very good at, Newcastle dealt with it extremely well. Why do you think, in terms of the set pieces, in terms of the defensive set pieces, it worked extremely well?
If you look at Newcastle, how they were marking, I can't remember too much first half, but I do remember second half where Arsenal were having 3 or 4 bodies at the back post.
Is that the Liverpool goal? Liverpool goal last week.
So Newcastle went zonal, if you looked at it, because we weren't all with them, because they would have had about 8 bodies together. Newcastle just went zonal for, right, they're going to come over, lads, watch you winners. And obviously, yes, there was a couple of people on the edge of the box, but I think that's been looked into, that's been tweaked, because they know how Arsenal's tactics play, and we absolutely handle them absolutely spot on today. And maybe that is the reason why Dan Burn is in the side, potentially, but it's easy in hindsight saying Dan Burn's in the side, but I thought we handled it really well. In the first half, they had little chances going wide and stuff like that, but as I say, how many saves did Nick Pope have?
Not a lot, and I think that's what the Arsenal fans will be saying when they're leaving Newcastle going,
they need a striker. They want to win the league, they need a striker.
That's what they were saying in the summer. They said they hadn't done enough, and you can see why. But they had to come here and win before Liverpool, Man City go and kick off at 3 o'clock. They had to.
We'll have 150 million plus if you want Isak.
Yeah. But in terms of that, in terms of other chances that Newcastle had, wasn't really a great deal, I have to be honest. Gordon obviously had that cross that you mentioned. I'm struggling to even think off the top of my head, really, in that first half, if there was anything else. But Newcastle did have little moments where they were kind of getting into areas in the box, but it just wasn't really paying off. Willock had little moments as well. But half-time, reset a little bit. But Willock had probably Newcastle's only chance of the second half.
Just going into the second half, I didn't want to say repeat of Chelsea. Yes, we won Chelsea, but I didn't want to say the low block, let's park the bus. I didn't want that, no, it's too risky against an Arsenal side.
You don't want to do it too early, that's the thing. You can do it, but don't do it too early.
And there was a couple of, you mentioned Willock, I think did someone else shot Isak with a rear saves, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, the second half.
In the second half, from long distance, but again, Arsenal made a lot of changes, Arteta and what have you, and because they were struggling, they weren't testing.
We were comfortable.
It didn't look like a team that is fighting for the title every season. It looked like, no disrespect to Arsenal, but that looked like a side that's in a relegation scrap to me today.
I just felt that it was just too big for them today, that particular game.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think Newcastle played really good, but I think Arsenal were really poor as well. I think it's a combination. I'm not going to sit here because I'm a Newcastle fan saying Newcastle were absolutely out of this world and what have you. It's a collective of both. I think Arsenal's shocking as well.
Yeah, in terms of obviously the first chance in the second half, it was Gordon that played it through to Willock, and he had the shot, but it was just too close to Ray, and it was a comfortable save. The Isak chance probably is the one. It's a good advantage by the referee. It was very nitpicky in terms of the referee, and it was, like I said, I don't think the referee was that bad or that good, but he wouldn't let the game flow. And it probably was better for Newcastle because we were 1-0 up at that point, that it worked. But the shot from Isak, it's a save that you want Raya to make. I didn't think it was the best save in the world in terms of how it just got over Joe Linton, because if it didn't, Joe Linton's got a good chance to make it 2-0, and Joe Linton had a header towards the second half as well, towards the back end of the second half.
Yeah, when he had it straight at the keeper.
But that was pretty much when it came for Newcastle. In terms of Arsenal, they made a lot of subs, but they didn't really do much until the 94th minute. Cross towards the far post, and Declan Rice, I think he expects Kai Havertz to get it. And it was a great decision.
I actually thought it was Havertz at first.
Yeah.
The looks of him now.
You've got a much better view of that, because it's right next to you.
I'm closer actually, because I just everyone around us was like, oh,
how did he miss?
I don't know how he's missed from that.
Do you not think I just don't think he's expecting it. I think by the time he's expected it,
that's their golden chance, their one chance all game. And there was a little bit of signs that crosses were starting to come in just before that as well. He has to score that. If I'm an Arsenal fan and I see that, I think, God,
£100 million player, you expect to score that.
How's he not scored? If that's Isak or that's one of our players, we're asking the same question. That has to be on the back of the night. But thankfully, it didn't. And I don't know what the referee was playing at all these added on times. I was pointing my wrist doing this. How something like 7 or 8 minutes added on, where it was only initially something like 5. So
it's funny because it was when Nick Pope caught it, and it was like, get in with wood. And he does that normal, like, it's like kicking him in the head just kind of because you expect the referee to whistle. He just didn't blow the whistle. It's fucking hell, man. Oh, well. But the last moment of the game was obviously a long ball, which Dan Burn was fouled by Kai Havertz. And it was great because we've had it for years, like Dan Burn, Kai Havertz at Chelsea, Dan Burn, Kai Havertz at Arsenal. And, you know, Kai Havertz has one maybe scored late on at Stamford Bridge where Dan Burn lost him. But he was brilliant. Dan Burn just wouldn't let Kai Havertz do a lot. He's a tough cookie at times, Kai Havertz. He wins a lot of headers and he bullies. But on the whole, Dan Burn was very, very comfortable with him. Like you say, Kai Havertz, did you have a shot today?
If Arsenal I'll say it again, if Arsenal want to win the league, they need a striker.
Yeah.
I mean, you thought that Gabriel Jesus was that man when they got him from City, got the air back. But he hasn't kicked on. I know he's had an injury last season where he had a serious one, but it was comfortable because you're playing against a target man, and that's what Dan Burn will probably fancy. If it's someone who's nimble and short, that's a little bit trickier. You don't really fancy that because it turn and twist, but handle him easily. We handled all of Arsenal. Keep an eye on Ethan Nwaneri.
Yeah.
He'll be a star in the future, by the way. He was brought on, he's a 17-year-old kid, to try and change the game.
Yeah, he had a shot which went well wide, nothing at all.
In the future, he will be a star.
But Newcastle held on for all 3 points. 2 big games in 3 days, as we mentioned, and you know there were some people more, like I said in the last word against Chelsea. It was more the media. It was more, you know, not the match-going fan. You don't really hear it in the stands at all. Was the pressure on Eddie Howe? Eddie Howe has certainly answered his doubters once again. Eddie, a 1-0 win against Arsenal. What do you make of that?
It was intense. It really was. I thought it was maybe not for the neutral, a really entertaining game, but I think fascinating if you're involved in it, because it was 2 really good teams. There was a lack of goal-mouth action today, but I think that's down to the tactical setup of both sides. Massive win against a really good team. But I think maybe a slightly different game to one we expected it to be. But I think once we scored, I thought Arsenal played well. And we were just then content to defend well. And I think if we had to defend well, they've got threats all over the pitch. So I'm really pleased with our defensive performance. Anthony did a brilliant shift defensively. I thought he was a real threat going the other way as well. But a really good effort to help Tino, who I thought played really well. And then the other side, Joe Linton's defensive performance to help Lewis, who defended really well himself, I think was key, because Saka's left foot and his ability to cross is a real threat. I thought we nullified that to a degree. I don't think you're ever going to totally take it out of the game, but sort of those details were big for us today. But just the attitude to deliver that, you need the right attitude. You need to be selfless for the team. Those players were and got rewarded. Heroic blocking, really tight spaces, nullifying their threats. Really, really pleased. And it was a throwback, but it's great to win 1-0 and keep a clean sheet. That's, if you can't play brilliant attacking football every week, you need to find different ways to win.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Yeah, look, doubters. I suppose there's always pressure when you're a Premier League manager, because results is the bread and butter. We didn't have a lot of results going our way. But what a week it has been with the Chelsea win, the Brentford draw in terms of the quarter-finals at St James's Park a week before Christmas, and then the Arsenal results here. This has to be the start of something now. We have to take this into Forest next week.
Yeah, you seen the video when I came to Stamford Bridge. It was just so negative, so pissed off and frustrated of how, like, I'm going home and away every single game. I'm not enjoying it. The last 2, I've massively enjoyed it. And I even said on that video, give Eddie Howe time because he will turn it around. There was a lot of people in the comments just, he has to go. And I thought that was massively unfair because when we had a bit of a dip last season, it was around January. He turned it around, we went on the run.
Beat the Mackins.
Yeah, we have to look, he's turned it around and we'll have to go on and beat Forest because we get beat off Forest. This result doesn't really mean anything. So we have to then get momentum now and start climbing that table. And yes, we've got Brentford on the rise, which is a fantastic draw. Later on in the month. Is it later in the month or early December? I can't remember when it was.
Which one, sorry? Which game?
The Brentford Cup game.
It's between Leicester and Ipswich.
So later on. And we've got something to look forward to there because it's a home tie and, you know, we're starting to turn the corner and people that wanted Eddie Howe out, I want you to comment, just to comment now, how do you feel about it? Because I think this is, a gear has been changed. It's not, as I say at the start of the video, it's not an Ipswich that we've just beaten, it's not a Southampton, this is Chelsea, this is Arsenal. Two top sides who will be right up there at the end of the season for the Champions League places. We've just literally bossed them in the first half of the cup and more or less bossed them today. I think it was
a defensive boss, in particular the second half. I think, as I say, Nick Pope hasn't. I have to be honest. Nick Pope towards the end with
that
punch.
That could have been John. That could have been John Greenwell.
Yeah, potentially. Who knows?
They just didn't test the goalkeeper. That could have been our fifth choice goalkeeper there.
Can't kick, but it doesn't matter when he catches in punches like that.
But Shea Given was absolutely amazing.
Shea Given broke the BBC TV set when Newcastle scored through his that day. Shearer and Given celebrating whilst on penalty duties. Don't you just love that? But Newcastle are in the top half. Obviously, we've closed the gap to Arsenal, actually. Only 3 points off Arsenal and Aston Villa. Villa play tomorrow against Tottenham, of course. We're a bit ahead of Man United and West Ham. We're kind of above them because they will obviously get back into the top half eventually. Obviously, a couple of points behind Chelsea. This win was needed. It was needed. And like I say, we've mentioned Forest. If we can get another win going into that, you're thinking, right, yes, we've had a little bit of a blip, but we're taking this in and then let's go from the November international break onwards. A couple of players. First player, Lewis bloody Hall. My God.
Against Saka. He's up against Saka, by the way.
Performance. Like, Saka had a couple of little moments, but my God, the reading of the game, defensively.
This game's come on so well.
Like I say, chalk and cheese, because like I say, there were people asking him last season, why is Lewis Hall not playing? Why is he not getting a chance? Why? It's not that bad. Surely it's not that bad. It's £28 million a snip.
It's starting to look like, England aren't blessed at left back. He's
got to be in the squad.
England's best left back is Luke Shaw, who's constantly injured. And after that, it's Pickett.
Levi Colwell, who's not even a left back.
Yeah, and Trippier had to play there in the Euros, now retired. So he will go on to be in England. He's playing for the under-21s. He's already pressing there. He will go on and play for England. I think he's so young.
Does he need to be in that England squad in November?
Well, Thomas Tuchel probably knows him back from the Chelsea days, so maybe that's got to one. We'll have to wait and see. But Liverpool's been in a couple of squads and didn't get on the pitch. But I think Lewis Hall's having a better time of late than what Liverpool is.
Yeah. Nations League games, like glorified friendlies, you put your players in that need to be given a chance to play for England, in my opinion. But that's a different subject matter altogether. He was absolutely outstanding for me. He's my man of the match. I asked for your man of the match here, and I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. He was absolutely outstanding. The second bit of players, talking about players, in particular Sean Longstaff, but in the midfield itself, there was a lot of chance actually for Sean Longstaff today in the strawberry corner. And everyone needs a Geordie in the middle. His name's Sean Longstaff and he loves the tune. People go on about Sean Longstaff, and we've had this debate so many times, but in terms of the balance, I know Jonathan's having to play out wide for other reasons, but in terms of that balance, he makes it tick.
Man match.
You think Sean Longstaff's man of the match?
I think he's.
Yeah.
Like I say,
I don't disagree with that.
I said I'll contradict myself because I wanted Tonali in the middle, and Sean Longstaff got that role in the more of the deeper. Absolutely sensational. That's his best performance for a long, long time. Just his awareness of what's around him, getting forward, getting his foot in. The amount of times you might not see it as much on TV, but you see it more because in the stadium we've got like a wide angle view of everything.
They'll watch the game back, don't you worry. They'll be watching the game back.
They'll be watching all that. Just the amount of times he's getting the foot in, just to relieve the pressure off a little bit. And sometimes we'll get on the counter attack. I think one of them we did actually in the first half, where Shea sprays it to the left, and he was absolutely everywhere. He was absolutely energetic. I can't praise him enough. And look, I've criticised him down the years. Sam's a massive fan of his as well. People don't. It's a love-hate relationship with Sean Longstaff, and it's massively. And stats prove that when he starts, we win more games. And he's not your sexy Tonali, he's not your sexy Bruno. But look what he did today, the graft that he put in. And also, I was happy to see Joe Willock because he's been getting I got a bit of sticks calling for Joe Willock to come in. Look what Joe Willock stood at the team the last two home games.
When you look at the two players there that you've mentioned, it's energy, which allows Bruno to... But it allows Bruno... Who's that behind? Is that Newcastle player? Is that... I don't know who that is. It looks like... I don't know if it's
next to the press room.
I don't know if it's a first team player or not. It looks like Joe Willock, but I don't think it is.
It's too small to be Joe Willock.
It might be an academy player, but anyway. We'll move on about, obviously we talk about the midfield, but it allowed Bruno to be more involved. Again, Bruno for me, I'm going to quote Ian Stone, he's a nasty bastard towards the end of the game, winning fouls, winning free kicks. He's so intelligent at the right moments, and I know that's an easy thing to say, but he's just shown it once again.
Again, in hindsight, you would probably say he was actually really good when he came off the bench in midweek, but Tonali didn't deserve to be on the bench, but it's easy to say it now because Eddie Howe, as you say, got it spot on. I don't want it to be the settled side all the time. I like how you brought Longstaff in today, and I like it, say Forest next week he brings Tonali and pulls Bruno. I don't think he will pull Bruno out, but you'll pull one of them out and put Willock on the bench. I just think it needs refreshing, is that the word? Bruno was absolutely brilliant today, and obviously he's, we've got the song from Arsenal and what have you. And
you don't want to be playing for them, do you?
No, well, Arsenal fans love Bruno and they love Isak. And speaking of Isak as well, just one of his touches today were absolutely sensational. And he's got 3 goals in 3 games. He's back in the proper goal scoring in the box. Give me the service, I'll score. If you look at all 3 goals he scored, one's across from left, tap in against Chelsea. The other one's a massive high pressing where Tonali wins the ball back, he's in the box, fires, and today Anthony Gordon's handed at him. That's bread and butter for a striker, but the touches that he was getting and moving it out wide were just brilliant, his movement today. And no doubt, if he does want to move to a bigger club in the future, he has to perform against this sort of club.
Yeah.
Not that we want to believe, of course, not, but he was brilliant as well.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to mention Isak, but you stole me thunder on that one. Which I don't mind at all because he is our match winner today. Unbelievable in terms of the energy from the crowd, the manager. It's all positive again, which is absolutely fantastic to see. You're going to be in Birmingham for the women's game tomorrow. Massive game for Becky Langley's type. Very, very difficult test. You look at Birmingham and Charlton, probably the difficult away games this season. They go there tomorrow. Looking forward to your trip.
I'm going down tonight. I've got press as well. So
perfect.
So I found out yesterday, so I've got press. So I'm going to be in the press box. I might do a bit of recording myself in there. So tune in tomorrow. You'll probably see all the familiar faces that you see at the women's game, like Dave, Lorraine. Who else is there? I don't
Everybody.
know.
Sam and Carl.
Yeah. Carl's making a journey. So Sam, Bernie, maybe. Who knows? You'll see them all on the block.
Yeah, best of luck to Becky Langley.
It's a tough game actually.
Really difficult game. Really difficult game, but a good test, and I'm sure they'll be up for that test tomorrow afternoon. Well, I think we should leave it here.
You've got to get nippy in it.
No,
your hands.
Give over, man. Give over. Southern softy, this one. Southern softy.
Your hands are proper red raw.
That's how cool he is. You're joking. But no, get your
I've got my snood on. The weather's changing, don't you, when you got your snood on?
Get your comments in. Who was your man of the match? So was Howe, was mine. Sean Longstaff was Lee. Was it somebody else? Tell us who was right.
And
was
one
wrong.
more question: has Eddie Howe turned it around?
Has he turned it around? Well, I think he has. I think Lee agrees as well. Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all very soon.